the lion and the jackal. Vajradhanstra was a lion living in a forest. He had two friends, a jackal named Chaturaka and a wolf named Kravyamukha. Because of their friendship with the lion, the jackal and the wolf had a free run of the forest. One day the lion found a female camel separated from its caravan and in labor pains. The lion killed the camel and found a live baby camel inside her womb. The lion and his friends fed on the dead camel, but spared the baby. The lion adopted the baby and brought him home. The lion told the baby camel, "You are now my child. Nobody can harm you. You can freely roam about the forest and have a nice time. You have ears which look like a pair of conches. So I will call you Sankukana." As days passed, Sankukana became a young and energetic animal. He was always to be seen in the company of Vajradhanstra. One day the lion had to confront a wild elephant, and in the fight the elephant badly injured the lion. Now the lion was too weak to go out and hunt. He called his friends, the jackal and the wolf, and the camel, and told them, "Look for an animal. I will kill it and all of us can have a good meal." The three scoured the entire forest, but could not find an animal. In despair, the jackal thought, "If we can kill this camel we will have a sure meal for several days. But he is a favorite of our king. He will not agree to kill the camel. Yet with my cunning I will see that the lion kills him." The learned have said there is nothing impossible or forbidden for an intelligent being. The jackal told the camel, "O Sankukana, our Lord has been without food for a long time, and he may die of hunger. His death will mean a disaster for all of us. I have a plan to get over this problem. Listen. Go ahead. Let me know what you have in mind. I shall certainly do whatever I can for the Lord, because if we do good to our master, we will reap a reward 100 times more valuable than what we gave to the master," said the camel. Chaturaka, the jackal, said, "O young camel, offer your body to the Lord at the double the profit. Your body also will grow in size and the Lord also will continue to live." The camel replied, "I am ready. Let the Lord know that he can have my body provided the Lord of duty is a witness to my sacrifice." The jackal, the wolf and the camel then called on the lion to inform him of the camel's decision. The jackal told the lion, "We searched the entire forest without sighting even a small animal. It is already sunset now. The camel is prepared to offer his body if you are ready to increase the size of his body and invite the Lord of duty to be a witness." On the lion agreeing to the proposal, the jackal and the wolf at once pounced on the camel and tore him to pieces. Vajradhanstra, the lion, told the jackal, "I am going to the river to take a bath and worship the deities. Till I come back, keep an eye on this food." The minute the lion left the scene, the jackal thought of a plan to have the camel all to himself. He told Kravyamukha, the wolf, "You seem to be very hungry. Go ahead and feast on the camel meat. When the lion comes I shall convince him about your innocence." As the wolf started to taste the meat, the jackal alerted him and told him that the Lord was coming and to allay any suspicion, he should stop eating and leave the place. When the lion came, he saw that the heart of the camel was missing. Angrily, the lion roared and said, "Who is the culprit? I will kill him." The wolf then looked at the jackal, suggesting that the jackal should convince the lion of his innocence. But the cunning jackal said, "You did not heed my warning and ate the meat. Why do you now expect me to help you?" Realizing the danger, the wolf fled the scene to save his life. Meanwhile, a caravan of camels passing by stopped where the lion and the jackal were planning the next move. The lead camel had a big bell tied to his neck. Frightened by the sound of the bell, the lion asked the jackal to find out what the sound was all about. He had not heard such sounds in his life. Pretending to find out, the jackal went out of the lion's sight and shouted from there, "O Lord, run for your life." "What's the matter?" the lion asked him. "Why are you frightening me? Let me know clearly what's happening." The jackal said, "My lord, the Lord of Death is angry that you have killed the camel before its death was due. He is upset and vowed that he would get from you 1,000 times more than the value of the camel we have killed. It is the Lord of Death, who hung a bell in the lead camel's neck. He also brought with him all the ancestors of the camel." The jackal thus tricked the lion into hurriedly fleeing the place, leaving the camel's body all to himself to feast upon. Damanaka continued, "That is why I told you that a wise man protects his interest even if it is to torment others, and never shares his secrets with others as Chaturaka, the jackal did in the above story." Sanjeevaka began pondering, "Why did I do like this? A vegetarian serving a meat eater. What shall I do and where shall I go? Perhaps Pingdalaka may spare me because he had given me assurance. Trouble may sometimes come to people who walk the path of ethical conduct. Every living being does good and sometimes bad deeds. He will reap the consequences in the next birth. So, we cannot escape what fate has in store for us." With these thoughts on his mind, Sanjeevaka went to see Pingdalaka, the lion, and sat down without greeting him. The lion also was surprised at the bullock's arrogance, and, believing what Damanaka had told him about Sanjeevaka, pounced on him, tearing him with his claws. Sanjeevaka, too, began goring the lion with his horns. Seeing that the jackal and the lion were determined to fight to the end, Karataka admonished Damanaka, "You fool! You have created a rift between the two friends. If the Lord dies, how can you be a minister? How do you aspire to be a minister when you do not know the principles of diplomacy? Warmongers like you can never reach their goals. You should not use force where there is still room for peace. One of the two is bound to die. Save the situation if you can. No, it is my folly to tell you what is good and what is bad. Elders have said that one should not preach to one who is not a disciple. You have the example of the bird Suchamuka. I am eager to know what it is," said Damanaka. 14. Suchamuka and the monkey. A gang of monkeys made their home in a mountain slope. When winter came, it brought not only severe cold, but also heavy rains. Unable to stand the cold, the monkeys collected red berries wildly growing in the mountain slope. They gathered around the berries and began blowing air at them, thinking they were embers. Watching their vain effort in amusement, Suchamuka, a bird, told them, "You fool, they are not embers but red berries. Why do you waste your energy on them? This will not save you from cold. Go and look for a shelter in a cave or a place free from wind. The clouds are thick and there will be no immediate relief from rain." An old member of the monkey gang angrily told the bird, "Why do you poke your nose in our affairs? Go away. Haven't the elders said that he who cherishes his welfare should not talk to a gambler or an inefficient workman? So is the person a fool who talks to an idiot or a pleasure seeker." Disregarding the old monkey's anger and not giving room to any other monkey to talk, Suchamuka went on repeating his advice to them to seek shelter elsewhere. Tired with the bird's unwanted advice, one of the monkeys sprang at the bird and bashed him against a rock till he was dead. Karataka said at the end of the story, "If you counsel a fool it will only provoke him and not pacify. If you feed milk to a snake it will increase its store of poison. That's why you should not offer advice to everyone. Look, how two good sparrows lost their home, all due to a foolish monkey." At Damanaka's request, Karataka began telling the story of the evil monkey. 15. How a sparrow came to grief. A pair of sparrows made their home on a branch of a big tree and lived happily there. Soon it was winter and it began to rain heavily. Frequent gusts of wind made the cold unbearable. At this time, a monkey completely drenched in the rain and shivering from cold, came scurrying to the tree for cover. Seeing the condition of the monkey, the female sparrow said, "Gentlemen, with your feet and hands you seem to be a human being. Why didn't you build a house for yourself?" Angered by this uncalled for advice, the monkey said, "You stupid, why do not you shut up and mind your business?" The monkey told himself, what impudence. This bit of a creature has the cheek to offer me advice. Makes fun of me. Unnecessary prattle. I must teach her a lesson. Why shouldn't I kill her? Turning to the female, the monkey said, "How does it help you to worry about my plight? Haven't you heard this saying of the elders that you should offer advice to those who seek it and cherish it? Advice to him who is indifferent is like a cry in the wilderness. Don't try to do that." When the female persisted, the monkey climbed up the tree and broke up the nest of the sparrow pair. That's why, said Karataka to Damanaka, you should be careful in offering advice. You are a fool who does not understand the essence of my advice. That is not your mistake. Fools ignore advice, and wise men follow it and benefit by it. It is clear that you haven't heard the story of Dharmabudi and his son Papabudi, the story of how the father was killed by smoke due to the son's thoughtlessness. Why don't you tell me that story? Asked Damanaka. In a city in the north, lived two friends named Dharmabudi and Papabudi. One day, Papa thought, I am a man without worldly wisdom, and added to that I am also poor. Let me persuade Dharma to take me to far-off lands and earn lots of money through his business skills. Later I will deprive him of all his wealth and live happily ever after. With these plans on his mind, Papa told Dharma, my friend, you are growing old and cannot manage your business. Unless you go out into the wide world, how can you tell your children about the wonders of the world? Elders have said that he is born in vain, who does not see the countries in the world, learn several languages, and know the dress styles of other people. You cannot earn wealth and knowledge without wide travel. Dharma liked this advice, and taking the blessings of his teachers, set out on overseas travel, taking Papa with him. Both of them earned a lot of money abroad due to the business talent of Dharma. It was time for them to return home, because it is natural for people who go abroad in search of wealth and learning to think of home when they have achieved both. As they were entering their native place, Papa told Dharma, it is not safe to take home all this wealth, because relatives and friends in need will seek help if they know about our riches. We shall bury most of our money in some secret place in this forest. Whenever we need money, we can come here and take whatever we need. You know that money tempts even saints. Dharma agreed to Papa's plan and went home after both of them dug a pit and covered it after burying most of their earnings in it. One midnight Papa went to the secret place in the forest and stole all the money and brought it home. Next morning, he went to Dharma and suggested that they should go to the forest because he was in need of money. When both of them arrived at the secret spot in the forest and dug there, they found the pit empty. At once Papa began shouting loudly, Dharma, you stole the money and nobody else. The pit was carefully covered. You must give me half of what we have buried here. Though Dharma denied it, Papa insisted that they should take the dispute to a court of law. When the case came before the court, the judge asked them to take oath in the name of God. But Papa quoted experts as saying that relevant documents should be produced first as proof, then witnesses would be summoned to give evidence. An oath in the name of God is taken when neither documents nor witnesses are available. I can produce the gods of the forest as witnesses. They will determine who is guilty and who is innocent, said Papa. Impressed by this plan, the judges asked both the parties to be present next morning at the forest for a hearing. Happy at the judge's order, Papa went home and told his father, "Father, I have stolen all Dharma's money. There is a case in the court that I can win only with your help. Otherwise, my life will be in danger." "What have I to do to get that money, son?" asked his father. "There is a big tree there. You have to go now and hide in the hollow of that tree. Tomorrow morning when the judges and others assemble there, I will ask you to tell the truth. Then it is your turn to declare that Dharma is the thief," said the son. The father left at once for the forest to hide in the hollow of the tree. The morning of the next day, the son took a bath and went to the tree, taking Dharma and the judges with him. Papa went near the tree and shouted, "O sun, moon, air, fire, earth, water, the god of death, day and night, you are all witnesses to the history of humanity. O goddess of the forest, declare who among us is guilty." The father shouted back from inside the hollow of the tree, "Listen all of you, it is Dharma who stole the money." The judges and the king's men heard the verdict and sat down to decide what punishment they should give Dharma. Meanwhile, Dharma filled the hollow with rags and hay, poured oil on them and threw a matchstick into it. The fire forced the half-burnt father to come out of the tree. All this is the work of Papa's evil mind," said the father, and soon collapsed and died. The king's men at once bound Papa hand and foot and hung him to a tree. They said, "Our elders have always said that wise men should not only be resourceful, but also know the consequences of being resourceful." You have the story of how a mongoose killed all the offspring of the crane before his own eyes.